I think I am live here in India. I'm hoping you can hear me okay. I have my headphones in and I have noise cancellation on. Looking a little geeky, looking a little, it's a little toasty, probably about 100 degrees here today in India. And let's talk about cosmic science. I have my little fun glasses on because I've been reading and studying. When we look at cosmic science, it really is a version of not just astrology, but actual astronomy. So there's this bandwidth around the elliptical circle of the Earth. We have the Earth, and then we have the sun that sits out and shines, and then we have a few planets, right, that kind of stay in our orbit, known as the Milky Way. But that's kind of our personal solar system. Originally, I was trying to comprehend how in the world can a planet like Saturn that's so far away, how could that have anything to do with it? Wait, like, you got me on the moon, okay? Sure, the moon can affect waves, and sure, the sun can tan our skin or bleach out a towel. But these planets, it's not that energy is at that moment affecting us. It's the causation of that energy being in that space. It's sort of like a timekeeper. The planets are kind of our timekeepers. And when this is the position, this is what it does to nature. When this is the position, this is what it does to nature. And so every 2+ hours, and it's 2+ because we have this wobble going on. So when you look at the Earth, it's not round. There's kind of like a wobble to it, right? It's kind of like an elliptical. Now, Western astrology hasn't taken into consideration with the sun. It uses the sun sign based on it being a round Earth pattern plane, and the sun affecting it equally. Well, 1 degree per year is a shift. And so what used to be the start of Ashwini in Aries has now moved 24 degrees. So out of 60 degrees, that's almost half. It's almost half. We're at degrees and minutes, and that's kind of how we've set up our clock. So as soon as something gets to 30 degrees, it goes into the next zodiac sign. So you have Aries for 30 degrees, Taurus, 30 degrees, Gemini, 30 degrees. Now, it's not actually like that because, again, what do we have? We have a wobble. The Earth doesn't rotate exactly around. Otherwise, the zodiac of Aries would be at the same time every single day. But every day, there's a slight shift. So after many hundreds of years, when Copernicus saw the sky, when Galileo saw the sky, the zodiacs were in slightly different positions. Now, we do have what we all know as Ashwini or Polaris, or that North Star. And so the North Star, we know that does not move. And when we begin our zodiac always from that space, slowly, some of these astrology signs are shifting. And so literally our first day of spring or summer, as we are right now, is moving. In Ayurveda, in Vedic astrology or Jyotish, we really don't see summer solstice happening until closer to the 25th, versus in the Western science, we'll say between the 21st. So originally, my birthday, originally I was a Libra. Libra sun sign now moved, or I should say, the solar system is moved, and I'm actually a Virgo sun. Now, the sun sign has really kind of to do with an overview. I get a lot of my height from my Virgo. I get a lot of my drive and my focus from that Virgo sun sign. But really what makes me up who I am are two things. Number one, the lagna. Lagna is your ascendant. So every, as I said, 2+ hours, because depending upon where the zodiac is, Sometimes we have more minutes and sometimes we have less minutes because we have a wobble happening. And so through the course of a year, 20 years, 100 years, it kind of starts to even out in how much time is spent in each astrological sign. So I'm trying to keep this a little simplified. Let's go back to Lagna. So when I was born, call it 7:30. Just say I was born at 7:30 a.m. That would be a different Lagna or constellation on the eastern horizon than if I was born at 7:30 p.m. Now, let's say I'm born at 7:30 a.m. and I have a dear sweet friend in Sweden, and she's born at 8 a.m. Now, 8 a.m. her time and 8 a.m. my time are going to show up differently. She could be born at 8 p.m. Say she's born at exactly the same moment, but we're on different time zones, right? And because we're on different places of Earth, what shows up on the eastern horizon is going to be different. So when the moon is rising, and I'm here in India and I'm watching it, the moon is setting right where y'all are in Colorado. So you don't see that same moon that I'm seeing because now it's over here. And is the moon really rising and setting? No, that's our heliocentric and geocentric perspectives. Whereas we're sitting here and looking out, or if we were out and looking in on what's happening on Earth. So let's complicate this just a little bit, one more, but it's not really complicated, it's explaining. The moon that's in the sky, as we were just talking about, full moon, new moon, whatever, the moon has many different shadows to it, right? Lots of different changes. Well, every 2.5 days, the moon changes. And within the moon, there are four nakshatras. A nakshatra is a 13-degree plus 20-minute time slot that narrows down even more when you were born. So what phase the moon was in, that 13-minute time frame that we now narrow into 4, so that's actually 3 minutes 40 seconds, 3 degrees 40 minutes. You do that 4 times and you're going to get 13 degrees 20 minutes. Do the math. I'll wait for it or hit pause. Could you do that? 3 degrees 40 minutes equals times 4 equals 13 degrees 20 minutes. Now you have that connection of time, 13 degrees 20 minutes in all 12 seconds. So it makes up 27 nakshatras. So you have the constellation that was on the horizon when you were born. You have the nakshatra within the phase of the moon. And now we get, I think we were born under with your ascendant is part of what creates your time, or your birth chart. What can we do with that? I can tell you a whole lot about, say, child or a Christmas cactus that I put into a nursery. I can say a whole lot about the difference between a hibiscus and how much water it needs versus a traditional cactus plant. This isn't fortune telling. This isn't saying, oh, you're going to have this many children and you're going to get married at this age, and this is going to happen. That would kind of take out the fun of life. What I can tell you is, oh, I bet you're really good at communication skills. Oh, I bet you're really a creative writer. Oh, you would make a fantastic parent, or maybe somebody who wants to give their all to something and develop a business and be an entrepreneur. I can tell you when you're going to have sunnier times in life, when you're going to have rockier times in life. I can tell you when you're going to go through times of expansion, whether it's having children, starting a business, maybe getting unexpected income. I can tell you a time when things are going to be a little bit bleak, a little bit challenging. This is actually a really deep time to get juicy, to get into your own ritualistic tendencies, to find out What are your actions? How are you feeding yourself? How are you spending your time on a Friday night, Saturday night? How are you spending your time with friends? Are you fighting with people? Is it because it's time to move away from certain people? Are you getting along with people? Is it time to really build community? These are questions that oftentimes we feel like we have to ask somebody else. And I can give you tools, mantras, breath work to literally tune you into, because you know better than I do. You know better than anyone. You know better than your best friend. If you can get quiet and I can give you some tools, you'll be able to hear your own evolutionary path. I can certainly give you signals of, hey, this phase you're in is going to be 10 years long. Hey, this phase you're in is 20 years long. So you can't be depressed for 20 years. You can't go, oh my gosh, life's going to be hard. I'm in Rahu. That's kind of this traditional Saturn return Rahu that scares people. And yet I've met people who've taken that time and it's been phenomenal, super expansive, started businesses, built a relationship, and even had a child. It's an amazing opportunity. So let me take a look at your birth chart. Let me see how I could support you. Maybe you want to look at a loved one. Maybe you want to look at somebody who you're taking care of. Maybe you have a child that you're concerned about. Maybe it's a teenager who seems to be caught up in the wrong lifestyle, or a group of friends, or struggling with school. As I can kind of take this little tiny glimmer into one's energy or light, Jyotish actually means the science of light. Reach up right here. Do you have a pulse? Is the person who wanted to go get some information or have a pulse? Then the universe is acting through you, for you, and I have some tools where I can truly shed some amazing light and let you know about the phases, the expectations, just to plan. If I were to say, hey, there's going to be a blizzard, that doesn't mean you can't go out and play. It just means you have to have the right gear on and you can have the most wonderful, magical wonder world, right? Or there's a hailstorm. Okay, cancel all activities. Well, how about we just take the entire party and bring it inside and listen to the sound of the hailstorm? It really is that type of analogy. So I look forward to sharing more information with you, sharing the love that you have for someone else and helping along your path. Cheers. I'll put a link to scheduling an appointment with me, booking. All appointments are going to be initially half price until I leave India and get home for 1 month and really start getting through my first 100 readings. And then they will be double the price because I am spending an enormous amount of time really honing my tools, giving physical practices, verbal practices, gemstone recommendations, so many things, just all these extra supplements. It's not just the caffeine. Right. Cheers. Peace, love, Jyotish.